Hello you guys, welcome to your weekly card pull. My name is Alexa. Today I'm going to be doing a reading for the week of December 17th through December 23rd of 2023. This specific reading is channeled for my Capricorn, so especially if you are a Capricorn sun, moon, rising, and or north node, this one is for you. For this upcoming week, it looks like we have a lot of encouragement and a lot of breakthroughs coming in, especially, not exclusively, but especially when it comes to work, our working lives, our professional projects. So last week, for those of you who tuned in, I do readings every single week. Last week, it seems like there were some potentially some emotional breakthroughs. Those may have been challenging for some of us. I have a feeling that some of us Capricorns were processing a lot of emotions, especially things that maybe were swept under the rug or things that we haven't looked at in quite a while. So if that resonates with you, great. If not, totally fine. We are going to be talking this week about some breakthroughs that are going to be coming through, especially when it comes to the mind, the way that you're engaging with the world, your thoughts, your ideas, and how those are being expressed in the real world. So I started out with tarot for you guys. I pulled 3 cards from my tarot deck, and then I have 4 cards from my oracle deck to give a little bit of guidance in dealing with those. So from my tarot deck, my dears, the first question that I asked for you was, what energies can you expect to look at, or what kinds of themes can we expect to be navigating in this upcoming week? Now, these can take form in a multitude of ways. For some, they may feel a little bit more extreme. For some, they may be a little bit more subtle. There's a lot of variance as to how we may experience these, but across the board for Capricorns, it looks like there are a lot of themes of breakthroughs and new ideas. I know I've said that word a few times, but it came through really, really strongly for this reading. So my dears, I pulled for you, and I'll explain them in a moment. I pulled for you in reverse, so upside down, the 8 of Wands. I also pulled the Page of Pentacles and the Ace of Swords. So for those of you that are not as familiar with tarot, I'm going to break these down a little bit. 8 of Wands indicates for some people travel. It is a holiday season, so for some of you that might just be a given. For others, however, being in reverse, this can imply that there may be some kind of delays. These could be delays that you've been experiencing internally. Again, these don't have to manifest as like traveling delays, although they can. But for some of you, there may just be some like shifts and changes and maybe some unexpected changes of plans. Also, something to keep in mind with this card, anytime this card comes up in the reverse, it is an acknowledgement of the flow of energy. So if you think about Mercury, I like to think about Mercury with this particular one, but like when Mercury goes retrograde, Mercury is the planet that rules communication, which is the transference of something from point A to point B. Now that can be communication. So for some of us during like a Mercury retrograde, communication can be really challenging. Okay, Lily. Sorry. Communication can be really challenging during Mercury retrogrades. Also, a lot of people are more likely to get into car accidents or to have car problems. Like anything, again, that involves getting from point A to point B might feel like there's some delays or throwing you back or just like a little bit of stickiness. And so the encouragement with this card when it comes in reverse, again, this isn't saying that there's Mercury retrograde, but it is saying that that similar theme of like some sticky energy might be coming up. So if you're noticing this, there are a few ways that it might present. One may be you may feel like your energy is really sticky, or the energy of maybe problems you're working through, etc. If you feel that, I don't know why it feels so punny now looking at the wands, but if it feels sticky, my dad humor is stupid. If it feels like something is really sticky for you though, and like it's tough to navigate it, the encouragement with this card is to find a way to kind of move that energy. That can be through dance, that can be through emotional release, that can be through, I'm a really big proponent of cacao. If you've never heard me talk about it or you're curious, please reach out and let me know, because dance and cacao have been like the 2 biggest things for moving energy for me. But there is an encouragement for you this week in allowing energy to flow. Also, if you feel energy flowing around you, but you're feeling stuck, that's an invitation for you to tap into what's going on around you and allow that flow to occur. I feel like for some of you, you know what this is referring to, and for some of you, may be like, I don't know. So keep listening, and it'll give more details that might help you to answer that second question, that last question. Next card I pulled for you guys was the Page of Pentacles. This card is about new endeavors, new ideas, new projects, new businesses, There's a lot of excitement. So if you notice, there are some like budding flowers at the bottom here, which is indicative of some new ideas. Also, we notice back here some like freshly plowed fields, which is indicative of kind of like a new harvest, a new season. So there is definitely some newness. Again, I said breakthroughs is a possibility. So it is definitely possible that some of you, especially when it comes to your work, might be, or because it's pentacles, the way that you deal with money, whether that's, again, your work projects or things that involve money, that you receive money through, etc. There is something in this way that involves like this level of newness, this freshness. Page cards are oftentimes like starting out on a new venture, the beginning of the beginning stages of mastery, or the beginning stages of wanting to acquire mastery. So for some of you, you may be experiencing like, oh, I want to start this new project, or I've had this business idea for a long time and now it's really striking me as something that's really important. So you're definitely being encouraged to look at those values and the things you're interested in. The other thing to consider with this card, again, because it is acknowledging stickiness, you may find that there are some delays, or there have been some delays with some of these projects that you have wanted to start. Maybe that's why they haven't quite started yet. You may also be experiencing some level of like wanting to start a project and feeling like it's time to move in a new direction or to start moving in a new direction. But this is an encouragement to find the balance of like bolting into something new and not moving at all. So I would say with a combination of these two, and this will be reflected when I get to Oracle, I would say, Capricorns, that in this upcoming week, any ideas that you have as it pertains to new ideas, new business ventures, etc., definitely don't block yourself from moving that direction, but also don't just like full speed ahead sprint into it without taking into consideration what are the logistics of this, what are the more, I guess, materialistic, I'm getting material aspects of what is being required here. Finally, I pulled for you guys the Ace of Swords. This card is an acknowledgement that whatever direction you're moving in, again, there is some newness. Being a swords card, this is like an air sign card, so there's a lot of thought or intellectuality involved with this. So whatever direction you're starting to move into, just be aware that there may be some trials, there may be some hardships with that. The rockiness of the mountains are supposed to be kind of implicit of like the journey may be a little bit rocky, maybe a little bit rough. That being said, pulled in the upright, there is a lot of encouragement with this. It's definitely, like if you have a project you've been considering, it's definitely something, and I'm sure that this is a testament to that as well, it's probably something that feels really aligned to you, and if something that feels really good to you, maybe you've considered it for a while, maybe you're just now figuring out, oh, this is what I want to be doing, or this is something I want to invest in the future. So just an encouragement to make sure that you are blending your emotions and your like fire. Again, Wands is, well, not again, but Wands is like a fire sign. So that passion that you have towards this project that you're feeling called to, that's going to maybe bring in some more money, some more abundance, etc. Come at that with a balanced approach. Utilize logic, utilize your intellect, utilize your thoughts. Also, don't allow your thoughts to overburden you. Don't allow your thoughts to get you stuck. Don't get stuck in negative thought patterns about this thing. Really, ultimately, you're being shown a new path. There are, again, a lot of breakthroughs that are, like a lot of opportunities for breakthroughs in the energy that you're going to be navigating this week, which is super beautiful. So the primary encouragement for you, my dear Capricorns, from the tarot pull is to open yourself to those experiences. Be excited about them. You're allowed to be excited. They're going to be fun. There's likely going to be some challenges with them, but ultimately I do feel that they will be pretty fulfilling for you. So if it feels right for you, definitely consider starting to move in that direction, but take your time with that. Be methodical, be thoughtful, and make sure that your heart is in it as well. Okay, close on tarot. I'm going to move into Oracle and speak a little bit more to some of the themes that came up. So my dears, one thing to consider from the Oracle deck, I did use the Sacred Creators Oracle deck. It is one of my favorites. Why is it staying? There we go. Okay. Sacred Creators Oracle deck. Absolutely love this one. I often use this card deck when it comes to work. Like this is more of my work deck usually. And ironically, before I even knew what kinds of things were going to come up, what kinds of themes were going to come up, I already felt pulled to this deck. So definitely some themes surrounding work. I do feel like for some of you also, just as kind of an aside, if you are taking time off during the holidays or getting space from your job or the projects that you're usually doing, a lot of the times and I apologize if you don't celebrate, but a lot of the times when you're presented with a different way of living or perceiving things, it can kind of shift things. So some of these breakthroughs may be coming as a result of you taking a step back away from work, spending time with your family or your friends, identifying what your values are and really aligning with those. So in the beauty of all of that, my dears, a couple of other pieces of encouragement for you. One thing is that your past supports your future, which is honestly, thank God. This card can imply, especially when we feel like we are in a cycle, if we feel like we're returning to a certain point, if you will, which life is cycles. It's not just upward movement. It's up and down and side to side. So that aspect of life can be a little bit discouraging for some people, because sometimes you'll feel like I made so much progress and I'm back to square one. But in reality, you're not back to square one. Even if you feel like you are, you have your past mistakes, your past lessons, etc., are ultimately creating the foundation for your future. Also, something else to consider when it comes to the endeavors that you're potentially planting seeds for, these things that feel new and exciting, these new adventures. Even if you don't get it right the first time, even if there are delays, even if you feel like it's not working out the way that you had planned, those are still like stepping stones for your future. So you can think about it in one of two ways. I mean, you can think about it honestly any way that you want, but the way I'm thinking about it is one of two ways. One of them being that things that have happened in your past have led you to where you are now and prepared you for where you are now. And the other being that things that happen now, whether or not they go quote unquote as planned or as desired, they are laying the foundation so that this aspect of you now, this present you, will eventually become your past you, and that is still serving your future you. So that is just something to keep you, I guess, somewhat motivated and looking forward regardless of results or whatever happens. Again, I pulled Ace of Swords, so it's pretty encouraging, but as noted, there will be some challenges, as with all things that are worth it in life. Next thing that I wanted to acknowledge for you guys is this card, Lead Your Metamorphosis. This card honestly is just heralding a time of change, transformation, evolution. There are new things on the way. We see that there's a butterfly here. There's also a scarlet beetle in this image. So there is which was an ancient symbol for change and metamorphosis. So there is a lot here in the way of change and new seasons beginning, new cycles beginning. We're moving into a new year. For those of you who are astrologically inclined, a few things to keep in mind. It may serve all of us to start setting our like New Year's resolutions and New Year's intentions a little bit earlier, as opposed to like right at New Year's. So if that feels good to you, this might be a really good time for that. But just acknowledging that we are, as always, in a time of transition, but that may feel a little bit more strong for some of you, especially again, when it comes to your work, your purpose, and the ways that you make money and or a living. I did also pull Light in the Unexpected in reverse. So this card does acknowledge that some of us may be resisting that change, may be afraid of that change, possibly feeling like there is danger inherent with that change. Ultimately though, you are, again, this one and the Wands card, both of the cards that were pulled in reverse, honestly, I feel like are somewhat relevant to each other, because they are both speaking to this need to allow that change to happen. And some of you, because I pulled this card, I feel might be trying to resist that, and this one as well. Some of you might be trying to resist change or changes that have occurred or are occurring. You may be trying to resist changes in your work, changes in the way that you relate to that kind of stuff. So if that is the case, then just be aware that it's okay for you to lean into those changes and really allow them to unfold. You're being encouraged to allow them to unfold. Finally, I did pull for you guys Creator Air card in reverse. Again, air signs, air card, air energy is also relevant to swords. So there is a lot here in the way of your relationship to your mind and to your thoughts, your ideas, bringing those ideas to fruition. Because this is in reverse, some of you may be resisting that. Some of you may be trying to figure out how to work with that. Some of you may also feel like you're relying on your mind a little bit too much or not enough, which again brings me back to that point of making sure that you have a good balance between your the emotional side, the passionate side, the more feminine side, if you will, of your experience, and also the more logical side, the methodical side. So just really allowing yourself to create the blend of those two things. I have a feeling, because I pulled this card, some of you may already know how to do that. Maybe this is just a situation that you haven't done that before. So allow those past experiences of merging these two halves of your whole, if you will, these two halves of yourself together. Allow that to inform how you're going to approach things as they come up in this upcoming week. So I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for tuning in. I do these readings every single week, so if you found this helpful, please make sure that you leave a comment, tap subscribe, let me know. I love hearing from you guys. I love knowing when these readings are speaking to you, and make sure that you tune in every single week. I will also, just as an aside, I will be doing a reading for every single zodiac sign for the entire year of 2024. I did an all signs reading for 2023, which was super fun, and I loved doing it, so I'm going to be bringing that back again. So even if you're not a Capricorn, or most of you likely have other placements that are not just Capricorn in your natal chart, that will provide a little bit more expansiveness, and because it's for the entirety of the year of 2024, it's something that you can kind of break down at your own pace, listen to at your own pace, and work with as needed. So thank you guys again for tuning in. I love you so much. Please make sure that you also find me on Instagram, TikTok, wherever feels best for you, at alexab.alchemy, and I will see you guys on the next one. Cheers and have a good one.